welcome Richa Sharma, Chief Operating Officer from KDK Software India Pvt. Limited. Give her a huge round of applause and handing over the stage to Richa ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. So I won't talk about much about the technology, but I'm going to talk about the day-to-day stories which we all go through. Okay, I'm not going to talk about anything which is going to be 20% of your day-to-day finance life, but I'm going to talk about the 80% of the issues which we all go through. So before I talk about my subject, as the summit agenda of today is mastering text in this digital world. So my topic is about wherein I am going to talk about how technology can help you in mastering the art of compliances in this digital world. And this has gone specifically very complex post GST era, because post 2017 onwards, when the compliances have become a monthly task. अगर मैं VAT की बात करूँ, मैं service tax की बात करूँ, it was all about on the basis of some declaration which you were doing. आपको कुछ invoices submit करनी होती थी अपने CA के पास जाके, on basis of those invoices or that turnover, you were filing the returns. There was no basis of invoices, there was no documents which were required at the time of filing returns. However, post GST this has changed tremendously, wherein you are doing this activity as a month-on-month activity, and also apart from that you are also, it is also directly linked to your working capital and your accuracy of compliances. So before I talk about two stories which are generally not part of my compliances, but yes, it is now impacting me day to day. So before I talk about those two stories, I would like you to think upon on these 3-4 points. How much time do you think that they're investing time in filing the returns? How much time earlier, imagine the time when it was pre-GST era, there was a very limited time which went in filing your returns, but post GST, imagine how much time your team is investing in filing the returns. Second is getting stuck at managing working capital. When I say getting stuck at managing working capital, understand it from 3 different aspects. One is, of course, you are discharging your tax liability month on month, that is one. Second is, you have to keep a check of the payments which has to be done to your suppliers, whether the supplier has filed the returns or not. He has filed the return, but he has not deposited the tax amount, and you have paid the ITC, you have not claimed the ITC, and you have made the payment to those vendors also. That is second. The third is about, of course, handling vendor payments, wherein I have spoken about the supplier payment management. And with all this, the accuracy of compliances, because when I say accuracy of compliances, not everything which is available to you in 2A, 2B, you are supposed to claim that. Not everything which is available to you in 2A, 2B, you are supposed to claim that. You are supposed to claim only which you are liable to claim. That means whatever, when we say go ahead and claim 100% of your ITC, no, go ahead and claim 100% of accurate ITC. That is what we talk about, accuracy of compliances, and then there is much more to it. So payment to vendors in GST regime, what generally happens? We have vendors whom we have to make payments every month, and then there is no check on the fact that the vendor is registered. He in the sense his GSTN is active, it is suspended, it is cancelled. The vendor has deposited the taxes or not, because it falls under rule number 37A, because we are only claiming ITC basis on the data which is available in 2A, 2B, but there is no check. This is a very important critical factor. There is no check on the fact that whether the vendor has deposited the taxes or not. We are only claiming it on the basis of 2A, 2B data, but not on the basis of the fact that whether the vendor has deposited in his 3B liability, which is as per rule number 37A, which has been recently introduced. So it becomes very critical for me also to check that the vendor is depositing the taxes on time, apart from getting the data available in 2A, 2B while making payments to my vendors. Payment to vendors earlier before GST was never related or was never impacting my compliances or my financial life on a daily basis. Now it has become a very critical part of my financial lives. Second is 206 compliance. I am not sure how many of you are aware of it, but in TDS or in direct taxes, while making payment to your vendors, you are supposed to deduct TDS at a certain rate. Now what you do is, you take a declaration from that vendor that yes, the vendor has been filing the returns from last 2 years consecutively on time. In case if he is doing that, you are supposed to deduct TDS at a certain rate, which is a lower rate or a standard rate. But in case if the vendor is not doing so, you will end up deducting TDS at a higher rate, which is 10% for that say. So what the vendor does is, he will give you a declaration, he will give you a manual declaration saying that yes, he has been 100% compliant and he has been depositing he has been filing the income tax return on time. This all activity, this all work is done manually. There is a staff which is sitting at the vendor's office, he will send you some manual declaration that this is the acknowledgement number, this is the filing number, this is the return has been filed, please deduct my TDS at a lower rate. Now what happens? The vendor staff has left, your staff has left, and we end up getting a notice, a demand from the department saying that the TDS which has deducted by you was incorrect and you are supposed to pay interest on that TDS amount. So what we are saying is, whatever we are doing is post facto. We invest time in reading those notices, we invest time in preparing draft responses to those notices, and then we of course pay the interest also. So this is my agenda of today, that how technology can actually help you to combat these challenges, how technology can help you solve these challenges which are now become a critical part of my day-to-day financial life. So we have been in this industry from last 20 years and I keep on talking to a lot of companies. So this is some data sets which we have collected basis on the survey which we keep on doing. Today your team is spending 60% of their time in compliances. What we are saying is, the team is spending 60% of their time in doing compliances, yet with a higher risk. Every company today has some notices and we are paying notices, penalties, interest to the tune of lakhs. Processing 3,000 monthly sales and purchase invoices put together. 3,000 purchase and sales invoices put together, wherein we have to reconcile those sales invoices with my my books data also, because now it is all e-invoices above 5 crores, I'm assuming everybody is almost above 5 crores. I have to reconcile my books data also with my e-invoice data. My purchase has to be reconciled with my 2A, 2B data. Now IMS is also in place, is going to be effectively in place from April onwards. And this data takes sufficient time to be presented to you, because that data you need to know how much credit is available to you, how many suppliers are default suppliers, how many suppliers have filed the return but they have yet not deposited tax, which is rule number 37A. How many suppliers have filed the returns but they have amended the invoices, so that you can also go back and correct your books basis on the amendment of invoices. Again a very critical part, because you have taken the input, supplier has deposited the taxes, but the supplier has again amended the invoices, but you have not corrected your books. Then supplier has failed to deposit taxes as per rule number 37A. What Aadhaar has done for individuals, GST will do for taxpayers. I mean, this is the kind of integration GST is going to bring minutely to our financial lives. Data oiling has become integral, of course. Since we all are either part of financial ecosystem or somewhere leading the complete function also. So it is inevitable for all taxpayers to use technology to stay compliant. Of course, we all know that. A self-analysis, this is the critical area. How much time do you and your team is spending on doing month-on-month GST compliances, and still how much are you able to save on the risk, or how much there is a fallacy in your GST compliance? Is it increasing, or is it stagnant, or is it on a decreasing trend? These are the 3 parameters which you or your team members should actually think upon or work upon. Interestingly, I keep on saying to everyone that income tax, it takes years for me to understand income tax, and it is the most complex subject which I have personally have come to, but Time consumption and legal hassles are more in GST compliances. 60% of income taxes like advance tax का return जाता है या फिर जो आपका annual return जाता है, you have to prepare your P&L and balance sheet, that's it. और या फिर कभी कोई notice वोटिस आता है but उसमें demand कभी इतना बड़ा नहीं होता. But when you talk about GST compliance, 60% of menas goes in GST compliance. Still there is inconsistency in your books data, supplier data, buyer data and GST data. The day we will understand this basics, कि आपका बुक्स का डेटा, your supplier data, your buyer data, GST and data, if these 4 parameters or 4 data sets are matching, your 80% life is solved. And this is where you need to work upon. Because most of the notices, if you go back to your organization also, most of the notices which you receive are pertaining to these 3 categories also. One is about the reconciliation, whatever data which you have maintained in your books, your GSTN, these 2 data sets, if they are matching, you are good. So you get notice because of audit under books of accounts and GST records of previous financial year. Now imagine, today you are sitting in your organization, you are getting notices not for financial year 24-25 or 25-26 going forward. You are going to get notices for financial year 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21 and so on and so forth. And the team which was working at that point in time is not available in the system. The department would never understand that the team which was working, which has filed the returns, who has taken the input basis on 2A, 2B is not there in the system. So you need some system, some technology which can help, and when the moment you receive the notice, they'll give you a stiff timeline of 7 days. So you need a system, a technology which can actually let you know कि मेरे 10, 50, 25 जितने भी GST आइन हैं, उन 50 GST आइन का ये सारे notices हैं. These are the draft responses which has been sent to those notices, and this is the data which is of my historical returns being filed or historical data which was given to the department or historical assessments which I have done. So everything should be available to you on a click of a button. That is the role of a technology. Abhi there was a recent development from the department side, abhi to unhone usko, they have taken it down, wherein they said that they are going to wipe off the data also of all previous financial years. Aapne R1, 3B, 2A, 2B ka jo bhi data tha, they are going to wipe it off. So you should have some backup jahan pe irrespective of the fact the team does not stay in the system, the data should be available, because when the department people will come, they are not going to ask you for the current financial year, they are going to ask you for the historical financial year. So agar aapka inconsistent declaration hai, you will get a show cause notice. R1 and 3B का difference है, generally यही notices आते हैं. You will get a scrutiny notice, HSN SEC कोड के लिस्ट के लिए आपसे पूछा जाएगा. आपका जो टर्नओवर आपने बुक्स में डिक्लेयर किया था और आपके R1 3B में था, इफ देयर इज अ डिफरेंस इन दैट, यू विल गेट अ नोटिस टू दैट. सेक्शन 73 ITC से रिलेटेड जितने भी इनपुट्स से रिलेटेड आपको जो नोटिस आते हैं, आपका रिफंड ITC मिसमैच है, 3B वर्सेस 2A 2B का डिफरेंस है, यू गेट अ शो कॉज नोटिस. नॉन पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्स और दी शॉर्ट पेमेंट, यू गेट अ शो कॉज नोटिस. ITC गलत अवेल कर लिया आपने या ज़्यादा ITC क्लेम कर लिया. GST यू हैव अवेल्ड फॉर अ फ्रॉडुलेंट फॉर्म. अभी एक केस आया था वेर इन अहमदाबाद गुजरात 10,000 फर्म्स were registered as a fraudulent firm. The system should be able to check whether the firm is a fraudulent firm or not. So of course a lack of technology creates fear, seeking technology creates courage. So the role of working capital, so the role of CFO in this GST regime is how I put it, to ensure the working capital unblocking by rationalizing ITC, supplier onboarding and payment management system, identifying accurate ITC. हर कुछ जो मेरे पास 2A 2B में अवेलेबल है, मुझे सब कुछ क्लेम नहीं करना है, मुझे वही क्लेम करना है जिसके लिए मैं लाइबल हूँ. एंड सिस्टम शुड टेल मी yes, this is my eligibility and this is I am eligible for. Not everything which I am eligible for should be removed. System should automatically do that work for me, not my people should be doing that work. कि ये मेरे books में eligible mark किया है, basis this eligibility I have to check this yes, I have to partially claim it. No, system should do it for me. Automation and GST compliance of course, and digitization of GST records. In case if the person comes, team goes, my GST records should stay in the system on a click of a button in case if any department authority or any internal assessment or audit happens to me. As I said, 100% accurate ITC, working capital unblocking, because this is on the basis, that is the base on which the organization working capital. I should be able to save my working capital, not save at least, but at least keep a stagnancy to it, paying what I am liable for, not paying everything to the government. Building a very strong check on my vendor management system till the time, to the time the vendor is onboarded. I should be able to see whether the vendor is active, cancelled, suspended, when vendor is making the payment, vendor is depositing the taxes, all those things. System should do it for me. ITC management, everything available in 2B can be claimed. No, splitting ITC, system should automatically split ITC, reject ITC, identify the eligibility, matching my 2B ITC with books ITC. Very important point. After I have taken the ITC, my supplier has amended the invoices. मेरे को system बताना चाहिए कि हाँ मेरे supplier ने invoices amend कर दिया. I have to go and correct my books also. Reconciliation should be there. Data should be available to me on a click of a button. My system, my technology should be able to handle large data, pre-identification of compliance gaps, integrated with finance and supply chain, better reporting. Of course, to have advanced GST software which seamlessly integrates with your finance, and we bring you, if you bring technology, it helps. If you bring advanced technology, it will resolve. And we at KDK, we have been pioneers in this industry from last 20 years now. We have been delivering tax compliance solutions for income tax, TDS and GST. And we look forward to have a conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richa.